tried to make me dance. So,
I did, and you returned the favor by not giving me a mug of water.
we're family. That's fine. Hi, thanks for
Hey,
joining us.
buddy.
Okay, so Eric Ankrum.
Yes.
So Eric's going to direct American Idiot for us. And can you share with us how you first came to know this piece?
It's funny, well, I knew the album, the Green Day album, and I'll talk a little bit more about why I think that's so special that a piece of music itself that can stand alone so brilliantly allows us to then celebrate. I'm just tangenting right away, but I knew the album, I heard it went to Broadway, and then kind of the Seattle theater story was, that's the show that Jason Kappas booked and left us. So now Jason Kappas is now, I think, in Las Vegas doing Jersey Boys, but he's one of our Seattle success stories, and that was his big break, was, I believe, booking the national tour of that. So they were auditioning in Seattle, and people were auditioning, and Jason got in, and then people were talking about having seen it. I've never seen it live, just YouTube stopped the show. You mentioned Rent and things like that, and it is one of those pieces as it pushes forward, really asking what is in general, a more mature audience to try to connect to maybe what the teenagers are going through. And I think theater in general has a hard time telling the stories of today's teens, because a lot of today's teens can't afford to go see those shows. And so then why would you create art for them? But this is so contemporary, and specifically mid-first decade of the 21st century, post 9/11, this piece of expressionistic, what do we do now? What are we to believe as a 16-year-old when I choose, why should I go to college? Why should I believe in anything? Where do we go? And that there is some power to feeling lost and embracing that and journeying out to find something new, as these guys basically say, we're going to leave town because we don't know what life is about, and let's go figure it out on our own, with a sense of independence combined with absolute lack of knowledge.
So what excites you most about the possibility of bringing this piece to Seattle audiences?
Well, one thing that I mentioned is that the score itself, this album that Green Day created, that before this musical took Broadway by storm, Green Day was touring basically this score almost uninterrupted and in almost the exact same sequence. This was a piece of art created by musicians at the highest level of the music industry. This score was toured by Green Day on a multi-million dollar international global sensation before theater said, what can we do with this? So, to begin with, the source material is so high-level, complex, brilliant art. And I love Stephen Sondheim. I love Stephen Schwartz. I love anyone who writes specifically for musical theater, but only in shows like The Who's Tommy, when you have artists that are writing music to be music, and that music itself is the art, can you then take what is great about theater, apply it to that art that is already by itself standalone brilliant, to then combine that to really, I believe, celebrate what theater can truly do, which is take music or dialogue and theatricalize it. But when you begin with something that by itself is so brilliant, to then add staging really allows theater to show off the brilliance that it can bring to live performance, while combining it with something that I believe is just unbelievably amazing.